guys, it's Ankita. Welcome to another video. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I talk about books here, I review them, I recommend them. So if you want to follow me along on my reading journey, consider subscribing to my channel. And without further ado, I am going to jump into the review. I'm reviewing In Memoriam by Alice Winn. It has been a few days since I finished this book, but I was holding off on reviewing this because I really didn't think I would be able to do justice to this book. It is one of those books that I want everyone to read, and I don't want my review to be the reason why you wouldn't pick this book up, because I feel everyone should read it. Anyway, so this is me trying to convince you to read this book. So in this book, we follow Gaunt and Elwood. These are our two main characters. They are at a boarding school in England and they are in love with each other. They are 17 and 18, so I don't know whether I should call them young men, or let's just call them young men, but their ages are 17 and 18 and they are in love with each other, and their love is tested throughout this story. It is tested because homosexuality was forbidden in the early 20th century. By the way, this is set during the First World War. So homosexuality was forbidden back then and possibly even punishable. And they are two completely different personalities. Well, not completely, but they are different. Elwood is more poetic, the other one is more kind of the brooding kind and more serious. Absolutely loved their romance in this one. But the biggest test and trial of their relationship is the war. It is 1914 and young men are pressured to go to war, and we see there are men who are men. By men I mean we mostly see teenagers in this book are really, or like young adults. These men, some of them are really passionate and want to go to war. They want to fight for their country. Others, some of them are anti-war. They don't want to kill another human being. They don't want to pick up arms. And then there are others who are pressured to go to the front and fight for the country. So we see all these different perspectives in relation to these two characters and their friends and their relatives, and it is beautifully woven. It is so perfectly executed. And then we see the impacts of the war, how it affects each individual, how it changes relationships, relationships between characters, relationship between parents, between siblings, and war impacts even those that are not at the front. People lose their sons and brothers and husbands, so many widows. So the entire social scene in England changes because of this war, and that's what we get a glimpse into it through this story. And we see the scenes of war and the effects of the war through the eyes of these, not only through the eyes of these two characters, but we also see what happens to their classmates, to the people they know. This was a total page turner. I could not wait to find out what happens to these two characters, what happens to their friends in the war. And I was totally rooting all the time that I was reading this book. I was rooting for these two characters and for their love to survive the war. So if you want to find out if their love survives the war, I would highly recommend this. There are so many letters in this, and these characters write letters to each other. I couldn't wait to read the responses to the letters. I was totally blown away by how this story is structured. It is such a well-written historical fiction. I felt so alive reading this. So there's a like a newsletter that is published in a boarding school, and it lists the name of those that died in the war, and I found myself looking for the familiar names in there, and I was totally blown away by how remarkably effective Alice Winn's writing is. This is her first novel, by the way. It's a debut novel, first published book. Really brilliant. She won the Waterstone's debut fiction prize. I cannot wait to see what Alice Winn writes next, and I'm pretty sure it'll be brilliant because this was a remarkable historical fiction. So yeah, forbidden romance set during the First World War, but it is so much more than that. The scope of this is immense, super fast paced, by the way, and a book that is definitely in my top 10 this year. I didn't really know how many stars I should give this book. I struggled so much. Instead, I'm going to give this 5 big bursting hearts. I loved it so much. Let me know if you have already read this book or if you have read another book which you have absolutely loved this year. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like this video, and I'll see you next time. Until then, take care. Bye bye.